Folks, Trump is not getting a mistrial. You might have heard that on Twitter or Facebook or perhaps even on talk radio yesterday, that there was a Friday night news dump that Juan Merchan, the judge in Trump's case in New York, a case which I completely agree, totally trumped up charges, it's BS. No one else would have ever been prosecuted for this. No one else would have been convicted on 34 counts. I agree, totally a poison jury pool. You know, they tried to prosecute someone in a jurisdiction where he has like a 5% approval rating, and he's a public figure. Everyone hates him in New York City, in Manhattan in particular. You know, it's not like they're trying him in Staten Island. They're trying him in Manhattan, the center of Trump hatred. Perhaps the only place that hates Trump more is Washington, D.C. I agree on all those points. But please, do not be so gullible. Don't let I don't know what to say. I mean, because a lot of these folks who are posting this, it's not just random pro-Trump, anon accounts on Twitter that I'm seeing doing it. Like, I don't know, what's a generic Trump fan name? MAGA fan 1776, okay? And they have a Trump avatar or something. Their Twitter bio just says, MAGA, my pronouns are beep boop. USA #1, I love Israel. Yes, there's a lot of accounts like that one that are posting about this and are taking the screenshot of the letter that had to be sent to all the parties by the judge, which I will get into. But there's also attorneys, pro-Trump lawyers, or at least people with law degrees, I guess we can call them that. People like Monica Crowley, that's a very old name, but I guess she's still alive. And she should know better. She's a lawyer. I remember that. She was an old Fox pundit years and years ago. And I believe her brother-in-law was Alan Colmes. That's an old reference. I doubt I have any subscribers who even remember Alan Colmes. The man was irrelevant even when he was relevant. God rest his soul, of course. From what I understand, he was a very nice man. I used to see him on the Imus in the Morning program. Another ancient name. That was great. It was just like having two old lesbians just yakking it up at the bar. That was what it was like watching Don Imus and Alan Colmes. But anyway, Alan Colmes' sister-in-law, Monica Crowley, tweeted this out about how there's going to be a mistrial and all this. Clay Travis, who took over Rush Limbaugh's time slot on the radio. Okay, so that's a big deal. So he's got a big position. He also has a law degree. And he's tweeting this out. And so what's wrong? What does the letter say? Why is it so embarrassing for these people, for the right-wing influencers, to be misleading their followers? How are they being misled? How is it misleading? Well, the letter that the judge sent out was very brief. It said that the court's been informed that someone on Facebook posted, a random person on Facebook, one person posted, my cousin is a juror, and they promised me that tomorrow, and this is the day before the verdict came out, they said tomorrow they're gonna convict Trump. That's what the post said on Facebook. This is just a person. They said that. Okay. It could be true, could be not true. Okay. I will leave the possibility open. Okay, sure. It's possible that it's true. But there are obviously, is it hundreds of millions of people on Facebook, or are there actually billions of people who have a Facebook account? Any person who has a Facebook account could theoretically post these same words. They could say, hey, my cousin is a juror. They're on the Trump jury, and they're going to convict him. My cousin told me. Source, trust me, bro. Literally. Is it more likely that one random person on the internet could have just said that for clout? To get likes, knowing that, hey, I'm going to post this somewhere that, other Democrats are going to see. Or maybe they're not even a Democrat themselves. Maybe they're just, they're like, hey, I know that this will get a lot of people's attention and it'll get likes, so I'm going to say I know a juror and Trump's going to be guilty. Because people want to hear that, People want to hear, just as many people want to hear that Trump's going to be guilty and that he's going to die in prison as there are people who want to hear that Trump's going to be, the case is going to get thrown out and there's going to be a mistrial and then Trump's going to throw Judge Merchan in prison. There's just as many people who want to hear either of those two extremes, I guess you could say. And so the judge sent out this letter to all of the parties to say, hey, we're having to look into this, which they should. The court should, to make sure that there's no jury tampering or jury contamination, or that the jurors, were speaking, because you're not supposed to speak with outsiders about the case. That's why in high-profile cases, a lot of times juries get sequestered. That didn't happen in this case. These folks were going home every night and talking to their families. And of course, we know, if you're a juror, you're going home to your family. Yeah, you're going to talk about the case. And, that's clearly going to happen. But proving that is another thing. The only way to prove it is if something like this were to actually leak out and be true, and that it really was the guy's cousin or girl's cousin. But in all likelihood, it was not true. And then it is pretty much confirmed to be a hoax when the original poster came out, and he made a separate post about how hey, I'm a shit poster. Look at my account. I troll. That's what he does. I guess he's a troll. I don't know this for a fact. I did see some silly stuff in his bio that did seem to indicate that he is, somewhat of a jokester or a parody account. His profile certainly didn't seem like the typical, just brain-dead, anti-Trump boomer type of person who would make such a boomer move as to post on Facebook that, hey, my cousin is a juror, and they told me that Trump is going to be convicted tomorrow. They didn't seem like that kind of person. You would expect a certain profile. Let's just say. I don't want to say I'm profiling people because I know it's very bad when we profile people. We all know that it's very bad when the police profile criminals. But maybe it's okay since I'm not a police officer. Maybe it's okay for me to profile this criminal. And I'm saying this guy does not match the profile of someone who would post something that stupid. Oh, and so when people called him out for it on Facebook, not Twitter, and said, hey, that would cause a mistrial. That's illegal. You just confessed to a crime, saying that you and your cousin talked about the case. They're not allowed to do that. And he replied, oh, don't worry, it's okay now because we're actually married. Saying, no, it's okay that I talked to my cousin about the case because she's also my wife. And yes, I saw people posting the full screenshot with that reply and saying, look, there's got to be a mistrial. Folks, is it possible? Yes, it's possible. But please, use context clues. You got trolled. Hard. Much harder than you should have been. This should not have been a successful troll. But it was. And so, unlike Clay Travis and Monica Crowley, who have law degrees and should know this much better than I do, I'm going to be, I'm just going to be straightforward and say there's almost zero chance that this is going to lead to a mistrial. And so, if you're hoping for that, don't get your hopes up, and don't let. I hate to call people grifters, but when you're an attorney and you're posting stuff that's dumb, it's kind of like, okay. What is it worse? Is it worse to call Clay Travis and Monica Crowley? And I'm sure there were others. I just didn't. I saw those two when I saw those two in particular. I just thought, okay, I have to call this out. When you're an attorney, you're posting something that stupid. Is it worse to say that they're a grifter, or is it worse to say that they're just dumb? I'm not sure what's worse. So anyway, with that said, I will see you folks back here in the next one.